Welcome to our how-to guide on adding an elevated train track in a LEGO city. My name is Andrew and I'm a part of the Brickin brood. And in this video, I'm going to go over the steps that you can follow to add an elevated train track in your city. Every LEGO city is unique, and adding an elevated train track system to any LEGO city will be different case to case. However, in this guide, I will go over the steps you need to successfully add elevated train tracks to any city. First, let's discuss why adding an elevated train track is a good option for a LEGO city. Number 1, saving space in the LEGO city. Space is a commodity in every LEGO city, so to save room by elevating a train track may be the only option to fit a LEGO train track in a city. Number 2, adding motion to the city. LEGO cities are generally static until you leave the room and they spring to life like Toy Story. So to add some movement to the city, adding a train is a great way to add some kinetic energy to the city. Number 3, making your city feel more like a city. Building a LEGO city is a lot of fun, and you get to design a LEGO city in the way that you like. Make it feel as real or fantastic as you want. Either way you want to go, adding a train is a great way to add some transportation for your minifigures. Number 4, you love trains. Adding trains to a city is a must for some people like myself. I grew up with a love of trains, so being able to build my own city and have a train track with trains to be able to drive around is a dream come true. Now let's go over some reasons why a train might not be a good option for a LEGO city. Number 1, not enough space. Like I mentioned before, space is a commodity, so a train, elevated or not, may not be feasible for all LEGO cities. Number 2, the big one, the cost. Adding train tracks to a LEGO city is an added cost in general, but if you want to elevate the train track, you're going to be adding even further to that cost. The more detail you put into the train track system and supports as well will affect the cost. Number 3, you're not a fan of trains. Simply put, you're just not a fan of trains, so adding them to your city is not a priority. You'd rather spend that money on buildings, and I don't blame you. Now we know why we would add or not add an elevated train track to the city. Let's talk about how we go about doing it. At this point, if you're adding an elevated train track to your city, I'm assuming for the rest of this video that you've checked off at least one of the 4 options on why you'd add an elevated train track to the city, as well as has some sort of road system with sidewalks. Step 1, city layout. Whether your city is starting from scratch or pre-existing for decades, you have the ability to add an elevated train track. If you're starting a LEGO city for the first time, it is best to plan your train track layout from the beginning. You don't need to install a track when you first start the city. If you plan the layout ahead of time, the track can be added years down the road. Step 2, what will be elevating the train track? You need to determine what is going to be holding up the train track throughout the city. Will it be the same thing or will it change with location? If your elevated train track is going to be built on top of terrain or anything, I recommend building the train track centered on the 16 stud section. This will give the train enough space on either side of the platform to avoid hitting walls or buildings alongside the track. I also recommend you utilize the space underneath the track. If possible, place buildings or structures underneath to utilize the space. If the elevated track is going to be suspended in the air with supports, you can pretty much place your train track anywhere throughout the city. Step 3, change an elevation for the track. Changing the elevation of a LEGO train track is challenging, and I recommend avoiding if possible. The reason why I recommend avoiding ramps with train tracks is it's more challenging to build, and the pitch of the track is not very much. So to get a lot of elevation change, it requires a lot of track. For the best train experience, the recommended incline for a 16 stud track is 2 plates high. I found this chart on technichere.com on how to create LEGO train inclines. It goes over the number of tracks and recommended height. For example, to get 12 studs of incline, it would require 16 pieces of track, which is 8 modular buildings long. And that's only one way. Presumably you'd want to make a circuit, so you need to go that length of 8 modular buildings back down. Step 4, designing your track. Building a shell of terrain is fairly simple to do. I recommend using big ugly rock pieces as much as possible when building rock work, at least for the foundation, and then add some slopes for texture. If you can make use of the space underneath the track by using some stores or other buildings, that's great. Just make sure that the track has room on either side of the train without hitting any objects or buildings. If you're going the route of a suspended track, take a single piece of track and come up with a design that you like. Figure out how many pieces you'll need per track, and then order enough parts for the remainder of the track layout. Step 5, designing your supports. If you're going to need supports, you'll need to determine the amount of supports required. The amount of supports needed relies on the strength of your track. Using track only with no ballast around it, supports will be required every 16 studs. If the track is supported below with secure ballast, the supports can be placed farther apart. The more strength the track has, the farther the supports can be placed. I recommend placing the supports every 32 to 40 studs if possible. Corners are a lot tougher to build strong. I highly recommend overlapping tracks on top of each other in the corners to make sure that they are secure and supported while suspended in the air. With straight track, the support should be attached directly to the bottom of the track and sidewalk. To support the corners, there are a couple methods to secure the track. One method is securing the support directly to the bottom of the track and locating the bottom support on 1 or 2 studs on the sidewalk. The second method requires securing the support to the sidewalk, and then placing some tiles and a stud or 2 on top of the support to locate the track. Sometimes having a support directly below the track isn't possible, so in some circumstances you might want to add a support arm on an angle attached to the track. There are a few ways to accomplish this goal, but I found the best way was using a ball joint fastener to get the perfect angles. This is how I attach supports in our city using ball joints. This method isn't required for most cases, but is a great option for those who need it. Step 6. Implementing the plan. After you've figured out the plan for your circuit, the challenge of completing the goals comes next. The track does not have to be finished in one day, it can be built in sections. Buying the parts required could also slow down this process. A LEGO city isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. When I first moved into this LEGO room, I built a basic train layout right away because I was excited to get the train track into the city. I didn't put much effort into the design because I knew it was going to be a long and expensive pursuit to get the track looking the way exactly how I wanted it. After a couple of years of being in this room, I finally completed the finished layout and design for my city center. So I recommend being patient and build at your own pace. I hope this guide was useful to anyone looking to add an elevated train track to their LEGO city, and to everyone else, I hope this guide was informational for you. Remember to make time for yourselves, your family, and your LEGO. Take care.